Hey guys, thought I'd do a gun review for you today. This is a Smith and Wesson revolver, and one of my favorite calibers, 44 Magnum. Kind of an interesting gun. It's Model 29, Smith and Wesson, relatively common. But this one has a couple of interesting features that aren't so common. I'll give you the little history lesson as I'm showing you that it's unloaded and cleared. Model 29 was introduced in 1955, I believe, by Smith and Wesson, and this is a more recent version of that. What you'll notice about this gun has a blued finish, has the forged hammer and trigger, has a grooved target trigger, the wide spurred target hammer. This one has the old style with the firing pin on the hammer. Has a really nice trigger pull. But one of the more interesting things about this gun is that it was the first 44 Magnum that Smith and Wesson produced that had the full underlugged barrel. The underlug was first developed by Smith and Wesson for the 686s, 357 Magnum, and that would have been in the early 80s. But this one was produced in 1987, and it was the first 44 to employ that full underlug barrel. Now the 629 Classics that were introduced in 1990 also had that full underlug barrel, but this predates it by 3 years. So that's kind of a neat thing about this revolver. Another thing about it is that at the time this revolver was introduced, rubber grips were becoming kind of the in thing to have. And this was the first Smith & Wesson 44 to have rubber grips. This was the Hogue Mono grip. And before this, they all came with the old clunky wooden grips, but this is the first one, to my knowledge, that had the rubber grips from the factory. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Now, another thing about this revolver that you might notice is that there are no flutes in the cylinder. Flute, most revolvers have them. They're just little divots that are cut in between the chambers of the cylinder. And you'll notice that this one does not have them. I suppose it really doesn't serve much of a purpose. I guess there's a little bit of weight for recoil reduction, but other than that, it's just kind of a cool thing to look at. So that's another interesting thing about this gun. But the most interesting thing, and any of you Smith & Wesson collectors have probably noticed already, is the front sight looks a little weird on this one. And the reason for that is that it's a fully adjustable front sight. It has 4 preset positions that you can sight in, and let's see here, you could set that like the first one you could set for 50 yards, 100 yards, 150, and out to 200 yards if you wanted to. And you do this by pushing down on that little lever. There's a leaf spring underneath, and then you turn this dial, and that goes to one of your preset positions. Release the lever, and you're all set for the next yardage. So that's kind of an interesting thing about this revolver. I believe there were only 2 44 Magnums that had that feature. There was this one and the Model 29 Silhouette, which was a very long barrel, 10.5 inches, 10 3/8 inches I believe is what it was. And that was specifically for silhouette shooting, and the adjustable front sight was a big addition to that revolver, because you had the ram set at many different distances and had to knock them down, and a lot of people found that they didn't have enough adjustment in the rear sight to go from 50 all the way out to 200 yards. But this gun was called the Model 29 Classic Hunter, and they also put the adjustable sight on that. So that's kind of why I think it's a neat revolver. It's a little different than the run-of-the-mill average revolver that Smith & Wesson has, and it came out in 1987. This one has only been factory test fired. It was bought and never fired after the factory. So it's new in box, essentially. I have the box and all the tools that came with it, the little sight adjustment, just a little Allen wrench that fits into these screw holes. So there it is, the Model 29 Classic Hunter. Nice shiny bluing on it. It's really like a midnight black bluing. It's got the full underlug barrel, the unfluted cylinder, the adjustable front sight, all forged hammer and trigger. Has no internal safety lock on it. This predates all of that. So an interesting Smith and Wesson. I will try to start posting a few more videos. I have a small Smith and Wesson collection. 44s are my favorite. So I'll try to get a few more reviews on there. Maybe I'll do some comparisons between different models. And I might even try to get out on the range and shoot some of these guns for you. Probably not this one. I'll keep this one new in box. I have plenty of other 44s to use. But I just thought you might be interested in the Model 29 Classic Hunter.